Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. And we got Jalen Milroe today. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but Jalen Milroe is an intriguing prospect, but he has a lot of things that he needs to fix. And we got a lot of footage of it. We all know he's a dynamic runner. We all know he has a rocket arm, but can he be an NFL quarterback and use all of his tools when he needs to use them? And can he clean up his mechanics? So Jalen Milroe for 2024, 2,844 passing yards, 16 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions, a 9-4 record for Bama. As far as rushing yards goes, 726 rushing yards, 20 rushing touchdowns. That shows you how much of a weapon he is in the red zone, and then 9 fumbles. So he's got to clean that up if he's going to be running in the league. He comes in at 6'2", 225, exact same height and weight as Jackson Dart, but as you can see, Jalen Milroe looks like a running back. And then for a lot of these top guys, you'll see me give them a score. So I gave him an accuracy score of 4, which you'll see as we go through this. Pocket presence, I gave him a 6, and these are all out of 10. Mobility, I gave him a 10 out of 10 because I think he's an absolute dynamic runner. Quarterback IQ, I gave him a 5 out of 10. Big play capability, gave him an 8.5, and then arm strength, I gave him a 9. His arm was a little bit weaker than I thought it was, but it still is a very strong arm coming in at 9. You add in his physical score, which is a formula with height and weight, and that gives you a 9.5. So 6'2", 225, not bad, just around the same height weight as Patrick Mahomes. And then you look at the player score overall, 6.8 out of 10, which puts him below Jackson Dart. And we'll see as these scores come in, he's going to come in at either 4th or 5th best quarterback for the 2025 draft. So don't want to waste too much more of you all's time. Jalen Milroe in the backfield here. He actually does a really great job compared to what I would have thought of reading defenses. He doesn't necessarily have an issue reading defenses. He just kind of isn't able to keep his fundamentals the same way to get the same results. So right here, you got a single high safety against Wisconsin. You're going to have almost like a wheel route here. And Jalen Milroe is going to notice like, hey, I've got a guy in the center of the field. He's kind of shifted over this way, but I know I can beat him if I'm able to hold him in the middle of the field while this receiver basically runs this kind of wheel route, not necessarily a wheel route, but something similar to that, and gets basically to make this an amazing throw. I mean, just take a look here. Ryan Williams got the separation there, and the ball's just dropped right in there. Just dropped right in there. All right, so I want to look at his footwork. Watch it. Not bad. Not bad. He's a little bit too high. You want to see a wider base here. That's pretty decent right there. But he's kind of throwing that a little high, but not bad compared to what we'll see a little bit later. And you just see he just drops it right in there. And that's a beautiful throw. If he can make these throws consistently, he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL because he's got everything else. All right, so again, a lot of times Milroe knows where to go with the ball, reads the defense the right way, but just misses the throw. And this is another example. He's got man across the board. You're going to see him on a crosser. You're going to see these two running basically fades. And he picks the right person to go with the ball. Now, the slot on the crosser, he's also open. But clearly the right decision here is going to be him on this seam route. That's clearly the right decision. Milroe's going to take the snap. And at this point, he's got enough arm to put this ball out there. And I just don't understand how the ball takes so long to get out. On top of that, he just overshoots him. And we'll take a look at the footwork in a sec. All right, so let's take a look at Milroe in the pocket here. Not horrible here, but as you see him step up to throw this football after he steps up out of pressure, he kind of rushes it and goes to his tiptoes as he's throwing this ball. So this ball ends up sailing. He goes to his tiptoes a lot and he loses a lot of accuracy. He's basically releasing it from almost being in the air, as you can see it. he's almost in the air, kind of jump passing it, except he's throwing it 40 yards downfield. So he has a lot more arm strength to where he can basically throw this flat-footed, but he ends up basically jumping to throw this pass, and it just sails because he put too much on it. All right, so here on this next play, they're going to get basically a cover 3 where their safety's basically acting like he's going to be, back here in a cover 2 or a cover 4, essentially pretending. But he's going to drop down to the middle of the field. This corner here is going to be basically patrolling this half of the field. This corner's on the other half of the field. And then you got this deep safety here. And then these guys are in the middle of the field here. So this looks like a cover 2 or cover 4, but it ends up being a cover 3. No problem there. Milroe doesn't really seem to have an issue with that. Actually does a decent job of evading the pressure here as his right tackle gets whooped. And as he's breaking out, he just kind of loses his mechanics and the ball's behind his receiver. All right, so here taking a look at his feet. I want you to look exactly at his feet and watch this left foot drop back before the right foot drops back. Take a look here. The left foot is going to drop back first, and then the right foot drops back. In my opinion, that's kind of wasted motion. Now, I don't know if he's getting coached for that, but I highly doubt it. Just take this right foot, put it back here, and you're already ready to throw. So that saves you a half of a second there. And he's done a good job of still evading the blitz or evading the rusher and just kind of loses it. His feet are too close together and the ball kind of is behind his receiver. Now, definitely not a horrible throw because his receiver still ended up dropping it. But my thing is, I really feel like if this guy can work on being able to move and reset very quickly, I think he's the type of quarterback that can throw across his body and hit this receiver in stride. All right, so this play, we're starting in the chaos. This is your middle linebacker. This is actually a Tampa 2. Your middle linebacker dropping back into the cover 3. So Tampa 2 is basically a cover 3 with your middle linebacker deep in the middle of the field. That's all that is. He's running the fences. He's running down the pipeline, if you want to say that. So anyway, you got your middle linebacker dropping there, and Jalen Milroe notices that this middle linebacker is making a beeline to the middle of the field, to the back middle of the field. Immediately recognizes that if this linebacker is making a beeline there, that means that this safety most likely is not also getting deep. So he notices that, realizes he has a man in the seam, and makes the right throw and makes a really nice throw there in between 3 people, enough velocity, trust his arm, and you got a big play. Take a look here. You're going to eye that middle linebacker and then see he's got a guy wide open. All right, so accuracy is a huge concern for me. There were a lot more bad plays that I had recorded than good plays, but for the video's sake, we're going to move on to quarterback IQ. So how is he processing the field? How is he seeing the field? We already got a sneak peek of that on the last play. But here, he's going to miss a wide open guy for a touchdown. So he's got another seam here, and he ends up just losing sight of him, not checking that read. He's back there, empty set. He's got time, and you got a guy calling for the football right there. No one else is really open. But he ends up trying to make a superhero throw in the corner here. And misses him. I mean, and not even a superhero throw. The guy's wide open, but he's throwing all the way from the right hash. Doesn't put enough on it. Puts it too high. And it's out of bounds. Now, it is tough for him because his first read here is Ryan Williams on a double move. He gets interfered with. So that gets taken away. Then he's got his tight end coming across. His tight end is covered. So this is his third read. But he still, I think, is able to make this throw if he moves to this third read here. So there you go. He sees that Ryan Williams is boxed in, takes a look at the tight end, and then looks. He looks and pump fakes at number 5. He actually looks and pump fakes at him and doesn't throw it. And then let's take a look at what made him miss that throw. Again, he loses his base. It's kind of off balance. His feet are all close together. You know, he's worried about getting hit, which is understandable, but his feet are all close together. You see one of his feet are off the ground almost, like he's got a toe on the ground. And of course, that ball is going to sail out of bounds there. So Milroe also can be seen staring receivers down. He's got an in route here, and he just stares them down the whole way. He's got a lot of attention over on that side because his eyes are over there. and he just still forces it there anyway, and it gets intercepted. All right, so all this stuff is intertwined here. You're going to get a corner route here, and he does a good job anticipating the corner route, does a great job there, but just loses his mechanics again, ends up fading away almost for no reason. You're going to get the corner here, and he just kind of fades away. He's not under that much pressure, and just look at how he's throwing this ball. He's off the ground again. He's fading away. He's leaning back onto nothing pretty much because that back foot is off the ground. And it's short. It doesn't matter how strong your arm is. It's just short. And he ends up making the throw because he's got enough arm. But this could have been a touchdown. So through with anticipation, recognize where you need to go. But you cannot keep losing your mechanics like this, or you'll just keep leaving plays out there on the field. So you're getting classic cover 3 right here, which means he is going to do some manipulating here to this linebacker. He's going to end up throwing this comeback here or this stop route here to his outside receiver here. And this receiver only is open because he does a great job holding the linebacker away from him. So he just kind of starts off checking the left side of the field, checking the middle, and then knowing that he's got a guy right there. Didn't even have to think about it. Didn't have to look and say, oh, I got a guy open. Just kind of knows that that's there, puts it right on him, and you move the chains. And just for the people that are curious about that false step that I talked about where he moves this left foot first, notice here, I don't think that's a coaching thing because if you take a look at his feet, he does it less here. So it's like he's trying to clean this up. Doesn't move the left as much. He kind of moves it in place instead of taking that step back. And he gets pretty good results. So in this next play, he ends up focused on his outside receiver on this fade route, and he misses his tight end wide open on the crosser that maybe catches this and scores a touchdown. So let's take a look here. You're going to get basically a busted coverage where that tight end should be. This corner at the bottom of your screen doesn't get enough depth, isn't paying attention at all to what's going on behind him, and that tight end comes open. So take a look at 84. Boom. 84 is wide open there. Meanwhile, Milroe waits entirely too long to throw this football. If you want to throw it now. But he waits entirely too long to throw this football, and he runs out of field. Runs out of field there. Nothing that you can do there. The ball's out of the back of the end zone, and you got a guy wide open standing around where, I mean, no one's within 15 yards of him. This guy's forever away from him. This guy is all the way on the other side of the field. And if you want to take a look, the safety started to break down onto it when he saw him come this wide open. But if he catches this, I mean, he's got a head start to where he may just walk in and score. So one thing I'll say about Jalen Milroe is if you have a design screen pass, the ball is going to come out quick. It's going to come out on time. And he's going to be a good screen quarterback in NFL because he can get the ball out of his hands so quick. But my only issue is that he'll sometimes throw the ball so quickly that he won't really pay attention to where the ball is going. It's almost robotic. So he's going to catch this here. It's going to go straight outside and doesn't look where he's throwing the ball. And this wasn't a screen. This is just a quick pass. Doesn't look where he's throwing it. Just instantly gets rid of it. Take a look at this next play. The exact same thing happens. This is actually a screen pass. And as soon as he snaps his ball, he gets rid of it. But again, if you're not paying attention to what's happening on the field, I mean, that's got to be a knock. So as soon as he gets it, play action, boom, throws it right to him. All right, so I'm getting tired of knocking the kid. I'm getting tired of pointing out what's wrong with him. Now let's focus on big plays. Jalen Milroe made a ton of big plays, and most of them were made with his legs. And this is what I mean when I say if he's going to succeed in the NFL early, it's going to be because of his legs. So let's just take a look. He went absolutely bonkers against my LSU Tigers. 185 yards, ran all over the field. So right here is going to be a quarterback draw. The vision here from him is amazing. His cutbacks are like a running back. So he's following his blocker here and just gets to the outside and he's just gone. Breakaway speed. I'm expecting him to run a 4.4. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs a 4.3, but he's got the breakaway speed. He's got the power. He's got the vision. He's got it all. This is another great run for Jalen Milroe. And again, just his ability to watch his block set up and not outrun the blocks. A lot of quarterbacks are just fast. They're going to run through the open gaps. They're going to slide. But he really sees the game like a running back when he has the ball in his hands. So just take a look at 77 pulling. And notice how he doesn't outrun his block. Confident, comfortable, makes a guy miss, and then he's off to the races. And here's him showing off some of the movement, but to throw the ball, he's got a little bit of him. He's got a little bit of that backyard scrambler in him too. So just take a look. He's going to take the snap here. Decent protection. He's going to make a guy miss, move around a little bit more, and just pitch it forward. You know, that he can do that kind of stuff. On his next run play, you're just going to see him get a lot of space here. And just watch how this guy bounces off of him. Just watch how he just runs through tackles from linebackers on a regular basis. Just runs through this tackle here. Gets into the end zone. So this next play is just another ridiculous run where you just see him and you're like, is this a running back or a quarterback? And this isn't to knock him. It's just he's got a very, very great ability to run the football. So he's just going to get straight up field on the draw. Cut back here. Cut back again. And he's made it outside against an SEC team with a lot of speed on it. With a lot of speed on it. Now, it is a Blake Baker coaching it, but a lot of speed on it there. He just basically reverses the entire field and is able to get out of bounds. And you're going to keep hearing me say it. It's literally like a running back. You're going to see him follow his blocker, slowly, then cut back and run through a tackle and then score. All right, here for this next category, we got arm strength, and we got a couple plays. Now, you're just going to just see him easily flick the ball 1,000,000 yards to where this ends up being in his wide receiver's hands, but it's just a touch far. But essentially, just take a look at how easily he gets this ball downfield from the 45. Easy. I mean, didn't step into it. Just let it go. So on this next play, the ball is going to the receiver down at the bottom of your screen on a fade route going downfield. And just take a look at him. Off balance, Milroe is going to throw this off his back foot. And the ball, I mean, this is like crazy. They end up calling this a touchdown and ended up getting called back because he wasn't in bounds. But just take a look at how he releases this off of his back foot, fading away, and it just drops it right in there. All right, so Jalen Milroe to me, again, is an intriguing prospect. He's got all the physical tools, especially being able to run the ball. He can physically make every throw on the field. He can see the field pretty well, too. He's just got to clean up the mechanics. There are way too many misses on tape, way too many times where he just got erratic with his mechanics. His mechanics aren't consistent. So that's the biggest issue right now. But if some coach can clean up all the consistency issues, I'm telling you, Jalen Milroe could be a good player in the NFL. I really wish that he would have gone back to Alabama or gone to another school for another year to try to develop that a little bit more. But he's out, and it is what it is there. So Milroe is going to be going to some team somewhere in the second or third round because he's just way too physically gifted. And we'll see how it ends up playing out for Jalen Milroe in the NFL. Hopefully he can go somewhere and sit for at least 8 to 10 games before he ends up even playing. And if you want to see a breakdown of the man that came in right above Jalen Milroe, take a look at this Jackson Dart video.